Hi, I'm Donald Davidson. I'm the historian for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this is part of the series called Stories with Donald. Well, I think that the thing to me about Mario is the diversity, and other drivers are given credit for being the most versatile, but I just keep coming back to Mario because of the fact that he did so many different things and was successful in so many disciplines of the sport. And it wasn't just out of necessity in a brief period of time. He just did it for years. And there was a little more freedom then, that he just liked driving race cars, wherever it was or whatever the type of surface, front engine, rear engine, whatever it was. He just liked racing so much that he would take all of those opportunities. Just some of the examples, 1967 was an extraordinary year. He won the Daytona 500. That was his second start down there, and he won the Daytona 500. And then I think it's 3 weeks later, he's at the Sebring 12 Hours for Ford, and he's partnered with Bruce McLaren, and they win. So he's won the Daytona 500, a NASCAR stock car race on a high-banked oval, and then he wins a 12-hour sports car race 3 weeks later. And then the fact that Sebring was a Saturday race, I think it was 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The next day, I think it was the next day, there was a NASCAR stock car race at Atlanta, and he won that. And then he won the pole for the Indianapolis 500 in May. 3 days before the 500, there's the Yankee 300, a 300-mile USAC stock car race on a road course. Parnelli Jones wins that, and Mario is second. And then 3 days later, he's in the 500. So he didn't run a lot of NASCAR, but he won a couple of sprint car races that year, and then, he won both. There was a twin 50 at Oswego, New York, on a large half-mile paved, and he won both of those. But in 74 was incredible because he was driving for Wells Parnelli Jones. And not only were they doing what was then the USAC National Championship, although they weren't having a terribly good year, but that was oval tracks with rear engine cars. He was also doing the Formula 5000 series, which was all road courses. United States Auto Club co-sanctioned with the Sports Car Club of America, and they were rear-engined cars that were similar to Indianapolis, except they were powered by stock blocks, pretty much Chevys. But they were also doing the USAC National Dirt Track races, he and Al. And so there was a couple of examples of where they would run a dirt track race on like the Hoosier 100 on Saturday, 100 miles on dirt, sideways, powering with the engine in the front, power sliding and driving with the throttle. And then the next day they would be on a road course somewhere and finishing first, second, or third in both. And then towards the end of 74, then Wells Parnelli Jones did a Formula One effort, which wasn't very successful. But they ran the Canadian and US Grand Prix at the end of 74. And then they ran the entire 75 season, and then the first part of 76 up through Long Beach, and then they didn't have a sponsor, the money ran out, and so that was the end of the program. But although he didn't have a lot of success in 75 with Wells Parnelli Jones, the fact is he ran all of the Grand Prix, but he didn't say, hey, I'm doing Formula One only, see you later. He was still doing other USAC events and occasionally sports car events, and jumping from team to team. He wasn't tied to one team, so He won, I think it was the 1,000 kilometers of Monza, I think, with, don't remember who the co-driver was. I want to say Ludovico Scarfiati, but I don't know that that was it. But here he would be in Europe doing a long-distance sports car race with a number of other, F1 drivers in sports cars, and then he would be back to the United States to do a dirt track race, or championship cars on a road course, championship cars on a high-banked oval, and then, there was just so much diversity. And it wasn't just like that he was double booked for one weekend. He just did all of these things, and as he explained, he just enjoyed racing. It paid him well, and he did very well. And so when he had an opportunity, if it seemed like it was a top team and worth doing, he would just go and do it.